Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Markets Underground series. My name is Rufus Kamau, Markets Analyst at FX Pesa. So today we'll be looking at quite a number of things. One, we'll look at the economic calendar, which literally doesn't have anything that is major. So we don't have any major market moving news. So we'll also be looking at the earnings calendar, which has quite a number of companies that are reporting earnings today. We expect much volatility, especially on the Nasdaq, the Dow Jones, and the SP 500 as a result of the companies that are announcing earnings later today. Then we will look at technical analysis, try to understand the major market news that are currently moving markets. So once you join in, kindly say hi on the live comment section, and these will confirm that everything is working just fine. And at the same time, we begin with a disclaimer that this particular session is not investment advice. It is not a recommendation to trade. So you should always do your own due diligence and, of course, practice proper risk management. So as you can see from the economic calendar today, we don't have any major news. So the only highlights we have is the major central bank decision on Monday, the 22nd of July, where the Chinese central bank decided to cut interest rates by 10 basis points from 3.45% to 3.35%. And this is in an attempt to boost the Chinese economy and make sure it recovers from the 4-year COVID period. So in this case, it's something that is expected. So for the 1-year loan prime rate, it dropped to 3.35%. And then for the 5-year, we got 3.85%. So this is expected to boost the Chinese economy and drive it through recovery. So whenever you see China cutting interest rates, this has the overall effect of weakening the Chinese currency. So at the same time, it basically creates the necessary environment for production. So it should be positive for oil prices, China being the world's biggest importer of oil. So for today, we had consumer confidence survey from the Eurozone coming in at 5 p.m. So it hasn't happened yet. We have existing home sales from the US, as well as the Richmond Manufacturing Index. We don't expect much to be happening from this, so other factors might be in play in determining market direction. So on the earnings calendar, we have quite a number of companies that will be reporting their earnings today. So right before the open of the market today, we have several companies reporting, including A.O. Smith, Albertsons, Everyday&Son, Bank of California, Coca-Cola, Community Financial System, Constellium, Danaher, First Bancorp, Franklin Electric, Freeport McMoran, GATX, GE Aerospace, General Motors, Genuine Parts, HCA, Hack Holdings, Invesco, Kimberly-Clark, Lockheed Martin, Moody's, MSCI, Northwest Bank Shares, Old National Bank Corporation, Packard, we have Pentair, Philip Morris International. For those who are new to companies that are reporting earnings in the S&P 500, you should know that Philip Morris is one of the biggest manufacturers of cigarettes around the world. Then we have Polaris Industries, Pulter Group, Quest Diagnostics, Sherwin-Williams being the biggest paint maker in the USA. Will also be reporting earnings later today before the market open. Spotify, UPS, and Webster Financial. So among the top highlights for the day will be Google, whose parent name is Alphabet. So Alphabet is one of the first Magnificent Seven stocks making an appearance on the earnings calendar, with the Google parent set to release its second quarter earnings report after Tuesday's close. So after the market closes in Kenyan time or Ugandan time, this should be 11 p.m. So just an hour before midnight, the company will have reported its earnings, and we expect the bigger reaction to be happening tomorrow. So if you're looking to place a couple of bets on Alphabet shares, then today might be the day, including placing some nice trades on the Nasdaq index. So CFRA research analyst Angelo Zino says Wall Street will be watching for updates on margin expansion, artificial intelligence momentum, and growth trends across the company's three core segments, which are basically cloud, search, and YouTube. So Zeno believes that cloud growth could surprise to the upside, with analysts forecasting a 25% year-over-year increase in both second quarter and third quarter. He also expects the report to show that the digital trends remained healthy over the 3-month period. That's the last one quarter. So analysts on average expect Alphabet to report second quarter earnings of $1.84 per share, which should be up 27.8% year over year on revenue of $84.2 billion. So among the companies that are reporting their earnings later today after market close, we have Artisan Partners Asset Management, we have Brandywine, we have Carl May Foods, Canadian National Railway, Capital One Financial, Shab, Costa Group, East West Bancorp, East Group, Innova International, Enphase Energy, EQT Corporation, First Commonwealth, Matador, Mattel. We also have Nables Industries, Packaging Corporation of America, Pennymark, Range, Red Rock Resorts, Renaissance, Retail Opportunity Investments, Seagate Technology, and most importantly, Tesla. Tesla is one of the Magnificent Seven companies. So there will be a lot of focus, not just from Google, but also on Tesla. So you should put out of your focus in that. So for those who are betting on semiconductor industry, Texas Instruments will be reporting earnings later today after market close. So we have Trustmark, Veritex Holdings, VCOL, and Visa, as well as the West Fraser Timber. So what does this tell us? What does this mean? This basically means that there will be a lot of activity happening in the global financial markets today, especially as a result of the earnings that are coming later this evening. So in this case, I think that all focus, despite having a very sideways economic calendar where we don't have any major economic announcements, the focus should be on the Nasdaq, which is about to be affected by the major stocks announcing their earnings for the day. So I'm seeing some good comments from Ian Dwiger. Thank you for the fireworks comments. Hello, Nick. Thank you for joining the session. I appreciate having you in this session. So let's get to some technical analysis and try to understand what might be coming. So first, we go through a couple of things. Just a sec, I'm trying to share my screen here. Awesome. I think this is clear for everyone. So this is the MetaTrader 5 trading application. This is the app that we majorly use to trade. We also have a mobile app available for trading. It's called Equity Trader by FXPesa. It's available on your App Store, whether you are on Android or Apple. So as you can see, today has been pretty nice for the dollar index. The dollar has just been gaining over time, currently trading at 104.172, which is a major resistance area, but it seems like the market might break above that and move higher. So looking at major currency pairs, the euro has been losing to the dollar all the way down, and it's approaching a target area that we previously identified as a major resistance area, now turned into a support. So there's still more room for downside in Euro USD towards 1.08440. So as for the dollar trading against the Swiss franc, complete recovery from last week's sell-off seems to be playing out. So if you go to the 4-hour chart, You can see the open of the market as of last week and this week as a continuation of the second half of last week. We are seeing the dollar making a major recovery, and we could potentially get to 0.89455, which seems quite tenable for today. As you look at the pound USD currency pair, here you can see that the pound is really trying to hold on steady after breaking the lower trend line last week. So we saw the pound being pretty weak against the dollar. So the bounce here didn't play out. So what we saw was an outright break of the lower trend line. And now it seems more of a sideways market. So if you are a participant or a person who specializes in trading the pound USD, then you should know that this is a sideways market. So we basically await until the market makes a major breakout, either from the upper trend line or the lower one. As I have indicated here, the market could potentially break the upper one or the lower one. But as long as it is within this range, then it doesn't make sense to be looking for opportunities within. So as for the dollar, trading against the Canadian dollar, a very strong recovery last week and a continuation of the same this week. And it seems more likely that the market could hit some potential resistance around this area. So there's still more room for upside. So we could be seeing the market completing this journey and eventually getting to 1.37828. So intraday trading should be focused on that area as a target. So for AUD/USD, we're seeing the Australian dollar being pretty weak. There's still more room for downside. Here we visualize a major support area, and in this case we are looking at 0.65913 with our first target earlier been hit at around this area of 0.66177. So the market has already hit the earlier target, so now the next target remains 0.65913 as the next level. So now looking at New Zealand USD, we are seeing further momentum downside. So after the market traded around this area, we all saw this overall momentum with the key breakout happening here, and this was on the 4-hour chart. So the market has continued to push further back downwards, and now we are looking at yet another key level support area here, and this is around 0.59413. So there's still more room for downside. In this case, the New Zealand dollar giving ground to the dollar. So the dollar is currently pretty strong, so we could be seeing some further momentum downside to 0.59413. Then for the yen, what we are seeing here is an attempt to make a comeback that started last week. So far, we haven't seen the dollar being that strong. However, this pressure is due to come to an end at some point, and the dollar being pretty strong against other currencies could be making a comeback from these price levels. So one key thing to observe in this particular currency pair is that this area seems to be serving pretty well as a resistance. So if the dollar was to make some further gains against the yen, then the target would be around this particular trend line. So of course, we haven't hit the lows of last week. This is the lowest price we saw last week. So there is a good chance that dollar could continue with the strength today and potentially get to this trend line. Not a very favorite asset to be looking forward to trade. So major support has been hit on silver prices. So this has been a major resistance turned into a support, and now, as you can see from the 1-hour chart, the market went all the way down, found support there, bounced off from that area. So we'll be looking for more evidence to see if the market has actually found support at this area and potentially making a rally towards the previous high. So for now, we just wait patiently and see what will play out. So for gold, it's pretty clear that we had a very strong bearish momentum last week as well as yesterday. Today, gold seems to be bouncing pretty well from this level around 23.87, making a rally to the current price level of 24.04. So we could be seeing some further momentum upside. So the previous high here was 24.49. So there is a good chance that gold eventually continues with the bullish momentum and gets to 24.49 price level as of today. So it's one asset to be watching pretty closely, with the key breakout points being the previous high that we saw earlier today, as well as the high that we saw yesterday. So any form of breakout above this price level might be the signal to be looking for a bullish position. So we saw the S&P 500 get to a value area, and I remember I mentioned this last week. So during one of the market snapshots, which we hold every day from Monday to Friday, we saw this area as a value area where the SP 500 could potentially bounce and move to the upside. So it played out quite well last week on Friday. So Monday, you can see the open and the rally that continued from that area. So expect the SP 500 to be continuing the bullish momentum from there, which is the same case for the Nasdaq as well as the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So more bullish momentum is expected on US equity indices this week. So Brent oil happened to form one of those book patterns. So if you go to the forward chart, then you zoom in, then we all know the head and shoulder patterns, this being the first shoulder, the head, and then the second shoulder. So eventually the market got back to the same trend line, found resistance and went down. So we expect some further bearish momentum. So currently we have hit a major support area, which means that if the market breaks below that, then there's more potential momentum downside towards the $76.75 dollar price level for Brent oil. So at the same time, the market could also find support around this price level. So it's a wait and see scenario to see if the market breaks and trades below this, then we go for 76.75. However, if that fails, then a bounce from here could get us back to 83.7. So we watch this area closely, mainly with respect to what happened previously. So previously, this area was acting as support. So price was bouncing from this area. So we observe whether there will be a break or a bounce from that price level. So on the other hand, we have seen some pretty good bullish momentum coming in from Bitcoin. So having seen several weeks bearish momentum, I would say 7-week bearish momentum. Last week was pretty bullish. This week opened pretty well before making a pullback. But nevertheless, all we are seeing is bullish momentum, where the price has the potential to go back to the base of the pattern. So the top of the pattern here is $71,952 per Bitcoin. So this bullish momentum is expected to continue this week. So as of today, it's a slight momentum backwards, but we expect to see some further upside. So as for European equity indices, what we are seeing is further bullish momentum, a really good struggle to get to the top. So for the Spanish 35 IBEX, we expect to see some further upside. In this case, basically nullifying our area projections that the market could potentially drop further. But in this case, some further pressure to get to the previous high, around 11,259. So for the Euro 50, we are seeing some form of weakness happening today as a result of the last 3 hours of price action. So yes, the bullish momentum was good, but it didn't quite get to our target. So a very strong rejection of higher prices indicating that sellers are coming into this market. And now the idea is to be looking for a short selling position towards 48.74. So that's the 4-hour chart. From the 1-hour chart, this is what we are seeing. So this is indicative of a strong entry by sellers. So further bearish momentum is expected for the day. And this is the same thing that we are seeing in the UK 100 or the FTSE 100 index, which means that now the lows that we have seen over the last couple of days become the new targets. So if you're looking for an intraday trade, I think the UK 100 is a better idea to be looking for a short selling positions, especially when you look at it from the 4-hour chart. So for an intraday short selling position, it seems more likely that the UK 100 would be our favorite for today. while we consider all other assets, especially the sideways momentum seen on currencies, indices become a much more popular and better option compared to currencies. So for the German stock market index, it's also the same. We are seeing a very strong entry by sellers. So this bearish momentum is expected to continue. So hopefully we are able to identify potential trading opportunities on this. And as always, do your own research. So a good question. Hi, RK, is Audi's so weak? Any direction on gold? So as we have already mentioned, today is a pretty silent day on the economic calendar, and gold is not seeming to be breaking out either to the upper or the lower side. So what I would say is that for Monday and Tuesday, which is this week, the overall momentum is sideways. This is what we are seeing in gold. So unless something major happens, for instance, the core PCE price index on Friday this week, that could cause some big momentum. For now, gold seems to be trading sideways. So kindly be aware of that. Nick Rhodes, thank you for joining the session. Norodias, thank you for joining the session. Hopefully you got to learn something today. So as I mentioned, our chart of the day will be the UK 100, which has shown a very strong rejection of this resistance area, which is an area which has been holding true for quite a period since the top that we saw on the 15th of May this year. So now that the market has rejected that today and proceeded with a very strong bearish momentum, then there is that expectation that at least we retest the low that we saw last week. So there's very strong possibility of further bearish momentum. Thank you guys for joining the session. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you on the next session. So as usual, if you would like to begin your trading journey, check out the links in the description below. That is on YouTube. If you're watching this on X, make sure to go to the FX Pesa page and get yourself an account. It's free of charge, it's very quick to register. And at the same time, if you're just beginning to learn, check out the Novice to Pro series, which is a series available on FX Pesa YouTube, basically taking you through the basics of Forex, what is trading, what is the market, how does it work, all that is answered in one simple course that's available to you free of charge. So at the same time, for continued learning and understanding of the markets, make sure to check out the Bullish Banter podcast, which is available on all podcast platforms. You can also check it out on FX Pesa YouTube channel. We also have the Financially Incorrect podcast. It's available for you guys. Just check it out on all podcast platforms, including YouTube, and hopefully you get to trade from an informed perspective. So thank you very much, guys, and I hope to see you on the next one. So seeing one more question from Lewis, from Nerodias. So hello, Lewis, and thank you for joining. Hello, Nerodias. You mentioned something about the pound. So as for pound USD, I believe we already covered that. So with pound USD, what we are seeing is more of a sideways momentum between Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. So you're not seeing much of a momentum in this one. So as of this moment, there was an attempt to go down. The market is bouncing from that support. So potentially intraday, we could be seeing some further momentum upside, but nothing major happening in pound USD currency pair. So thank you very much, guys, and I hope to see you on the next session.